Nearly a month has passed since Election Day, when more than 150 million people across the country voted in the presidential race. And now that nearly all the ballots of the 2024 election have been counted, we do have a clearer picture of the accuracy of the polls, both national and battleground polls, during this cycle.
Yeah, according to the Pew Research Center, this year's national polls turned in one of the best performances in presidential polling in decades. But this morning, we're taking a look at what those polls got right and where they might have missed the mark. We've got NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray joining us with more on all this. Mark, good morning. Always great to have you with us.
So let's start with what the polls got right. You now say that beyond signaling that the 2024 presidential election was competitive and uncertain, the polls nailed the political atmospherics that shaped the contest. So let's look at that. The final NBC News polls had President-elect Trump, Vice President Harris in a dead heat race right up till Election Day, like so many other polls. About a month later, what do we know?
Yeah, Joe, the polls got more right than they ended up getting wrong. And you ended up looking at our own final national NBC News poll that showed a tied race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris at 49% each. The real clear averages nationally were in that same ballpark. And again, the final result, Donald Trump was a little bit more than that. Kamala Harris was a little bit less. But given a lot of the past misses that we've seen in presidential elections, particularly going back to 2020, this was a much better performance for the polls. And is also mentioned, the atmospherics got right. President Biden was unpopular. You ended up having a super majority of the country who think that the nation was headed in the wrong direction. Those were some of the big, broad stories that the polls were telling before the election, and that turned out to be the case.
Mark, now let's talk about the opposite and kind of two things here, where polls did get things wrong, but then also what factors lead to sort of like the perception that polls were wrong.
Yeah. So, Savannah, as I mentioned earlier, once again, Donald Trump's support was a little understated. Certainly not as what we ended up seeing in 2020 and 2016, but he ended up outperforming his polls. But to me, and when we look at our own NBC News poll, maybe the biggest miss was that size of the overall gender gap. We were talking about a historic gender gap, and what it turned out to be was this was kind of almost the same gender gap that we've seen in past presidential contests in 2016 and 2020. Now, where there was a gender gap was when you end up adding education to that, college degrees, and that's where we ended up seeing a wide educational gap between men without college degrees and women with them.
So, Mark, if there's one number that explains why we saw what we saw, I think it's this. The NBC News exit poll found 73% of voters say that they were either angry or dissatisfied with the country's direction. Mr. Trump swept the battleground states, winning all 7. Felt like a surprise at the time, but that persistent dissatisfaction, that was key in the final result, right?
Yeah, Joe, I actually think that was the whole ball game. And, usually you end up having a president winning re-election or a presidential administration winning re-election when people say, hey, you know what, good times are here again. It's morning in America. Things are on the right track or at least are getting better, like what we saw for Barack Obama in 2012. But with 73% of voters saying that the country, that they thought the country was heading in the wrong direction and they were dissatisfied, made it very difficult for Democrats to keep control of the White House.
Mark, for viewers who, just want to know more about how this all works, how we make these polls, what we'll do differently, how does this information impact and help poll gurus like yourself better prepare for the next round of election polling? Do any changes come after one of these?
Yeah, Savannah, one of the big lessons that we were telling at NBC News throughout this entire cycle was that polls aren't precise instruments. That if you get a number that says it's one candidate's at 50% and another candidate's at 49%, that one candidate at 50% isn't guaranteed to win. In fact, all that we know about that kind of result that it's close. And the polls did tell us about the atmosphere. They told us this was a very close and uncertain race. And that's kind of the extent to what polls can do.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.